All right, good evening. It is the Warren Board of Selectmen. It is June 26, 2025 at 5 p.m. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast via our local cable access channel WCAT, Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. If anyone in the audience is recording, please let us know. So this is a public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant Program.
Yes.
Okay, and John, you're up.
Okay. Thank you.
Take it away.
Okay. Great. Well, I'm John O'Leary. I'm planner at the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. First off, I'd just like to thank you for providing me the opportunity to speak here tonight. So the purposes of tonight's hearing is two things. One, to give a brief update on the ongoing activities related to the FY 22-23 CDBG program, and then also to discuss a potential reprogramming of some of the funds within that grant's budget to another activity. So I'll just start off with the quick update, starting with the Town Common Improvement Project. So there, the town hired consultant Wesson and Sampson to look at making improvements to the Town Common site, enhancing its features, its accessibility, adding features, really to make sure that space is better suited, for residents currently and future. So that's ongoing. We have substantially completed most of the design work. So right now, the team from Wesson and Sampson has pretty much a finalized concept, which will be presented to the public towards the end of July. There will be, that meeting will be publicized through all the outlets that the town regularly advertises through, so keep an eye out for that. But that will really be the final opportunity for the public to comment on the proposed design. But I think we have a pretty good product to date put together for that. So that takes care of that project. And then moving on to the School Street Phase 2. So there, we hired a contractor, A. Martins & Sons, to make improvements to surface, mostly including streets and sidewalks, and then also some drainage work. That project was completed last fall. Overall, it went very well. And I think if anyone's had the opportunity to be up in that neighborhood past year since the fall, we'll see the results of that project, and I think it came out really good. Just on a side note, that project was also able to access funds from the Community One Stop program, so that took care of the portion of Otis Street. With the fact that we were able to combine both of those sources of funding, we were able to basically save approximately $150,000 on that project. So right now we have $150,000 of unspent funds in the FY 22-23 CDBG program, which leads me to the second part of this hearing, which is to discuss the potential to reprogram those funds into what is currently being considering as the downtown stair replacement project. So just a brief background on that project. Back in 2009, the town had applied for construction funds through the block grant program to make improvements to the entry, stairs, and downtown sidewalk that would make it more walkable, more pedestrian friendly, as well as improve accessibility. That project was installed the subsequent year, 2010, and over that time, there has been some deterioration, more specifically with the treads and the steps. Over the past couple of years, there have been numerous complaints about it becoming a tripping hazard, and there are some kind of safety issues related to that. So in that time, Jeremy Olson, as well as Chris Dunphy, colleague, and other town staff have kind of tried to approach it in such a way to make these corrections. Several opportunities were explored, but I think the most viable option being that the town has potentially, $150,000 or $160,000 of funds that they could access today. I think it would be in the best interest of the town to consider reprogramming the funds from School Street into this project. So I think, as you, I'm sure, recall, Jim had asked at a previous meeting to allow up to $5,000 to hire a consultant to give us kind of an assessment or a scope of what it would look like to improve these steps. So I'm going to report on where we are with that assessment. Rich, do you have the chance to distribute the cost estimate?
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so as of today, we're looking at a cost of $157,400. Jim and I had a conversation with the engineer who's been working on this, actually just before this meeting. And he explained and outlined his approach on how to make the corrections to the stairs to make sure that they're sound for 25, 30 years going forward. So as of today, it looks like the existing ramp structures will remain in place. But what will be demoed, removed, and rebuilt are their steps and the pads of the steps, as well as the railings. So that's a lot, almost all of this cost, with the exception of the engineering fee, which is $21,000. So what that engineering fee would do is give us bid-ready plans and specs so that we could go out to bid for the contractor to actually build the steps. So that's kind of really the overview of where we are with that project. And before, actually formally asking for the approval, I just want to see if there's any questions regarding where these.
So it just seems like a lot, though, since the surface of the stairs are deteriorating, to take out the entire block of concrete.
Right.
Is that right? I mean, we can't just fix, the tread part of the stairs, get rid of the metal and somehow fix that? Is that not possible?
So the way it was described, and Jim, you can help in this as well, is the way at least I interpret it as if we really wanted to make it kind of bulletproof and done correctly, that it would require the full demo of those existing stairs. And the reason being that over time, salt has deteriorated at the concrete structure, and it's just going to continue to decay and deteriorate. One potential, concern was around the PSI of the concrete, so that, the engineer couldn't tell us for certain, but he believed that it was kind of to a standard that probably should have been higher. PSI, I guess, is what they refer to it as. This engineer is suggesting that we do the concrete at a 5,000 PSI. He believes the existing steps were done at 3,000 PSI. I'm not an engineer, but I know that at least the higher PSI level, the stronger the concrete is, and will stand up hopefully over time.
PSI, pounds per square inch.
Right. I guess it's a measure of the strength of the concrete.
Oh, okay. So it's how they mix it or what additives?
I'm
they
not
put in
exactly
there.
sure what goes into it. I just know that the higher that level is, the stronger the concrete
Okay.
is, which would, yeah. So I think that's the reason for the approach of why it's replacement of the full steps. Jim, is that kind of you got out of that conversation as well?
So, I understand, it's a lot of money, but the damage has been done, and we can't really patchwork concrete.
Yeah, I know.
It's never gonna may last a couple years, but it's always gonna break up. We've always seen when you try to patch a little spot in concrete, after a couple years, it breaks up and comes right back up again,
Yeah.
because you didn't fix the structure.
Yeah, it wouldn't adhere.
So
Yeah.
I think if we fix it and replace everything and it's brand new again, we're just gonna have to get on a program of seal coating that concrete.
Okay.
Because there's a sealer that you could put on the concrete to make sure that it lasts longer and prevents salt from permeating inside the pores and stuff and destroying it. And that was one of the problems, the tenants there were using salt
Right.
on the stairs and caused problems.
So
Right.
were the railings installed properly? Because you have metal with concrete and they don't go together so well when there's water. So
Right.
is that part of the problem too?
So yes, the handrails were part of the problem.
Yeah.
And they're,
And are they going to be able to solve that with this this solution.
Yes, and that's part of the reason why it is as expensive as it is because they're doing it a different method,
Okay.
which was explained to us by the engineer is the way it should have been done and will last longer.
Okay.
They didn't last long.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I did have this conversation with John, you know, because these steps are not that old, they're about 15 years old. These steps typically have a shelf life of 25, 30 years. We're only halfway through it and we're seeing these issues. So, you know, the conversation that John and I had with the engineer, you know, I basically, you know, had asked him, you know, will this engineering be better and stronger and will last longer
Yeah.
for years to come? And he had indicated, yes, that would be the case. These are gonna be engineered better, they're gonna be designed better. He identified some of the weaknesses that are currently there that are most likely affecting the concrete, you know, the depth, the nose, obviously the metal treads, the way the handrails are installed currently. Those would all be changed on this new plan. We're fortunate enough that we have excess money on a project, on the School Street project, that can be reprogrammed. We don't have a lot of time to reprogram the money. It won't hurt us, you know, if we don't use it. We can certainly not use it. But the state and the federal government would like us to, we were allocated this amount of money, they would like us to see it used in a wise project.
Mhm.
This is an accessibility type of project. So, you know, this is more along the lines that it would benefit quite a few individuals that utilize the stairs in town because they're public and they're accessible to the businesses. It may not be a bad thing to do to get that, to use the money for that. And could, you know, act as some type of economic development piece inadvertently with trying to fill some of the storefronts there. If there's cleaner, better walkways, cleaned up a little bit, you know, maybe that would, you know, trigger more activity down there. You know, certainly, you know, when I first started, I know David and I, we had gotten a complaint from some woman that tripped down there. And we had to file, you know, an accident report. We own the steps, so we have to maintain them. And so, you know, those are things that we have to look at, you know, the risk there that we take by not getting them corrected. We do have the money available. It's a project that's been identified. You know, I guess there could be arguments made, well, is it the best use of funds? You know, that, you know, there could be arguments made there, but we have it ready, we can move forward with it, you know, and it's not gonna cost the town any money. We have the excess money because of the fact that we had a competitive process on the School Street side of things that led to an excess amount of money on that project.
John, can you clear up, we had a discussion maybe about a month ago. So is it true that we own the steps up, and it's up to like the door of the business, right?
Right.
Okay.
So,
Those are our responsibility, even though those business owners put salt
right,
for their,
right.
you know, for their customers, which I understand, but
Yeah.
but we are responsible.
So the engineer that we're working with had accessed the Registry of Deeds property survey for that storefront in that particular location. And from what we could tell based on that map, that the stairs were in the right-of-way, public right-of-way, which, you know, the town would in fact own, and it's not privately owned,
Okay.
based off that map.
All right. And which sets of stairs are we working on? The ones in front of the, is it the cash
All of them.
market? Or is
Yeah,
it all the
all of it.
anything with stairs?
Right,
Correct.
Everything,
Right.
that whole
Okay.
project was.
yeah,
But anything with ramps, we're not touching?
correct,
Okay.
correct.
So, I'd have to look. There's
So
at
just the
least
stairs
two
and the
stairs.
pad,
Yeah, there's at least two stairs that I can right?
I think
One
there's
at-
three.
Three.
Three?
There's got one at the,
Both markets have
yeah,
stairs.
both
Mhm.
market, and then right in front of,
Glenda's.
well, it's just,
Or
it's just
that-
to
the
that
Rick
side
and
of
Glenda's,
Glenda's,
Lost
Lost
Arts.
Arts
Okay,
Parks.
so those three, that's, okay. Is there accessibility for the businesses while this goes on, and how long will this take?
So, good
They're
question.
gonna have to close their
Good
shops
question.
for that time.
Good
Or
question.
if
Because you can't go through the back
Back
door, there's,
No?
So,
because those shops go through, the backs are storage areas, so you'd have to take the public through their storage areas. So we'd have to let them know they're gonna have to close shop for,
Yeah, do we have a,
It's
Could they use the
probably-
ramp, though, for just doing the staircase?
if it leads there, well, so the
yeah, you
flat
don't
part,
want people walking. on
is it just the actual stairs that got rebuilt, or is it the whole piece that would be like stairs to landing?
my understanding is that it's just the stairs and then the pad above that set of stairs.
Oh, it is?
But I would have to confirm, yeah. So part of the engineering design study will definitely have a public engagement piece where there'll be a public meeting for residents and business owners in particular to have on that, at least bring awareness to them. And then once we actually have a contractor under contract, you know, we'll have to really nail down some dates to give them,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
an advanced time to figure out
Yeah.
how they're gonna deliver and, yeah,
Yeah, how long
Right.
this is gonna impact them,
right.
okay?
The plan is to get all of this done before the end of the year.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that would be good.
yeah, so,
Okay.
we talked to the engineer, he said the design would probably be about a month, and then we'd be able to go to bid right after that. So once we get this, you know, program submitted and hopefully approved,
Get it done before the cold weather.
right, yeah, exactly. Thinking, late summer, early fall.
Okay, and do we have enough to cover the, in this excess funds, do we have enough to cover 157,400?
We're pretty close to that, number,
Okay.
yeah.
So we might have to come up with something?
Oh, no, I would, so we'd have to revise maybe some of the cost estimate. I
Oh.
wouldn't, it wouldn't come at asking the town for any funds out of town funds. This would all be
Oh.
grant funded. Yeah, we'll make
Okay,
sure of
all right.
that, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
cool.
Good.
Yeah, all
How
right.
to do it,
It's-
let's
yeah.
get it done with.
It seems like a huge thing to do,
We
but,
got our
okay.
next thing to go to, so.
Yeah. All right, so what's next? Do we vote on this at some point, or? what-
Yeah, could I please ask for a motion? Would that be all right?
To.
Okay.
What's the motion?
To reprogram up to $160,000 from the School Street project into.
160?
160, yep.
Okay.
Yep, up to $160,000 from the School Street Phase 2 project into the downtown stair replacement project.
Said moved.
All right, second, all in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Rich Hacker, aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
all right. And is that it? Okay. Is there a motion?
Get your pen back, or did they steal it?
So we will,
Close the public
I
hearing?
like this pen.
No.
we'll, yeah, we're gonna close, we're done with the public hearing. We can close
Yeah.
the meeting and the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the, public hearing.
Second, all in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Rich Hacker, aye. All right, we're all set.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor?
David Dufresne, aye.
Rich Hacker, aye.